Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Welcome back to the ARES Fighting Championship official podcast on this platform. You can follow all the latest on your favorite MMA league and also catch up on some exclusive content. To be sure not to miss any of this, please follow us on all social media and YouTube at ARES_fighting. In case you missed it, our very first episode was with the chairman of ARES Fighting Championship, Robins Chaliwachu. So you can go and have a look at that later on, but only after you've watched today's show. And we have a great guest today, all the way from the United States of America in Michigan. It is heavyweight fighter and ARES 1 winner, Josh Parisian. Hi, Josh.
How's it going, man?
Hi, lovely to see you, mate. Thanks a lot for talking to us. And of course, before we get started on everything about MMA, on behalf of everyone at ARES, let me say congratulations to you, Josh, because of course you've just become the proud father of a little girl. How's that been?
It's great. It's great. I definitely feel super motivated now that I have a little person to take care of that relies on me. I have like a plus 10% all stats buff, new dad.
I'm sure it must be very difficult to get used to, though.
Yeah, no, it's my girlfriend and I are juggling sleep. But she doesn't really cry a lot. She cries when she's hungry, but other than that, you know, she's kind of like me. I cry when I'm hungry. She's definitely my daughter. Just gets a little hangry.
Well, I cry all the time, so I guess that's an upgrade on me. Well, let's get back to MMA. Let's get back to MMA and to ARES, Josh. Did you ever think when you started out your professional career that you'd be brought to the African continent by mixed martial arts?
I never thought I would ever make it to Africa, but I think it's really cool that MMA is taking me places that that I may have never traveled. You know, it's not like a vacation destination spot, but it's somewhere I got to go to see a new culture, new things that I would never be able to see before. So I'm grateful for that.
And that's one of the things that you told me actually when we met in Dakar, Senegal, was what you wanted to use MMA as a means to explore the world and to discover new things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I want to use it as a vessel to travel the world and beat people up when I get there.
A lot of people are curious, Josh, how does a fighter, and how have you personally, of course, coped with the situation like the coronavirus, which has hit the United States very badly, and of course, the thoughts of the league are with everyone over there. But how's it affected you in terms of training or even providing for your family, I guess, if you can't even fight?
Ooh, it's been a tough mental thing. I think it's because when I'm not doing anything and I'm not pushing forward, I'm not reaching my goals, I feel stagnant. And then that feeling of being stagnant kind of feels like I'm just existing. And that was a hard thing to deal with in my head. But I made goals for myself that I could do at the house, running goals. I never run, but I started doing the running thing and making small goals for myself there, and that made me feel better. And then our gym started opening up, and I've been training since. So things have been better now.
So it's not affected your routine too badly, let's say.
I mean, it's tough to. I mean, you can do like general fitness and stuff like that. People, you know, do squats, do push-ups, run, all that, but it's not the same as grappling, as sparring, you kind of take a step back in that kind of cardio and that conditioning to be able to do that. But I'm good now since I've been training and stuff. I got it all back.
Okay, well, let's get back to actually when we met. That's almost 6 months ago now. I can't believe it's been that long, but we were, of course, in the capital of Senegal, Dakar, for ARES 1, for the first massive MMA event in Senegal. You fought Jikasa Matunga on that night, a bit of an unknown quantity. You came away with a win in the second round with the ground and pound. Take us through that fight, Josh. What was it for you, the whole experience of being there, obviously fighting in an open air arena, I guess?
You know, I have I've over 40 fights. I've never fought outside before. That was my first time. It was much bigger than I expected it to be. Like the whole operation, the venue was huge. Like it was such a production. I couldn't believe it, honestly. I mean I don't think a lot of people spoke English there. I think everybody's second language is French, or no, it's French.
Yes, French, yeah.
And but everybody was like cheering and had good energy and stuff. And then as far as the fight goes, as everybody knows that watched the event, it did get slippery in there. The canvas, or the vinyl canvas, just the humidity in the air, and that made my strategy for the fight kind of, you know, I had to think of something on the fly because I really wanted to get into the pocket and get out of the pocket. Use my footwork, but pressing off of that wet mat, I just slid. So it was kind of like had to hobble over, punch a couple times, hobble out.
Yeah.
Same with him. So I think that, you know, I don't think that I think that Matunga is a good fighter, but I think that it's just my experience that allowed me to get the win, because I was able to, I've been in that situation. I've been fighting so long that I was able to change my strategy and adapt. And
of course, you came in that fight as the overwhelming favorite. So was that difficult to approach that, knowing, you know, that there's a lot of expectation on you to win? And again, as I say, Chikaz Matunga was quite an unknown entity. You know, he kind of turned up last minute. So how was that in your mind? How did you cope with that kind of aspect of it?
I would say normally I am very much more nervous when I'm the favorite. But first, it was different this time around, I think, because, well, for one, I do a lot of, and the last year I've done a lot of mental, like mindset training. I never thought that self-affirmations were like, I kind of thought that was BS, but I've been doing tons of those. I have them in my mirror. I read them every day. And they have just like made such a difference. So I'm a firm believer in self-affirmations and just reminding myself, you know, it doesn't matter if I win or lose, as long as I'm in control of the things that I can do, and the things that I can do or have good energy. I'm working hard. I'm never quitting. You know, those are things in my control. Sometimes I get too worked up on the, what if this happens? What if that happens? All these things that aren't really in my control. And it's just learning not to stress out about those things and just focus on the things that I can control.
Is that a strategy that you've worked on personally because you've seen these as maybe problems during fights, or is it something that's also been brought in by your coaching team? How's that come about?
To why I even did that?
Yeah.
So I never played sports growing. I mean, I tried out for the basketball team every year, never made it. And then I was on Little League and I cried every time I had to go. So I didn't really play sports. I played like a lot of video games, a lot of World of Warcraft, like all the way up through college and all that. I never did anything physical. So I thought that when I started MMA, that like everybody else was able to deal with these feelings of being nervous, like, oh, you know, like just like my heart's pounding, my legs feel wobbly, like I'm just so nervous. And that's why I actually took 22 amateur fights, I believe it was, just to get rid of the nerves. Like but I realized by the end of that, I'm always gonna have those nerves. You know, there's some nerves. I'm
sure, yeah, of course.
But I think I just do too much dwelling on the what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? And then sometimes I feel like I can't. I'm not focusing. I'm not really focusing on the things I need to focus on. And then we met a mindset coach who works with a lot of wrestling teams around that local area, and he gave me so many good pointers and things to do, and I've been doing those a lot on my own. And although the nerves are still there, I still feel those nerves. They're not so overwhelming that it's I feel like it's crippling to me in my mindset.
Josh, as you mentioned, you know, you're a very experienced fighter. You've fought in quite a few promotions, different organizations. And I assume, like any fighter out there who does mixed martial arts, one day the UFC will be the goal. But how did you think that ARES compared to, you know, what did you think about the whole event, the organization, the way you were approached in terms of, you know, obviously it being a very brand new organization and sort of coming to the table like that? What did you think about ARES as a whole?
I thought, honestly, I thought it was great. I thought that, and I know it probably sounds like I'm just saying that because I'm getting interviewed by ARES, but it was, everybody was super cool. And, like anything that I needed, somebody was like, oh, let me help you, whatever you need. As far as the promotion itself and the whole, it just seemed like it was the first one, so I didn't know what to expect. But it looked like there was a lot of money thrown at it, and it looked like it was going to be someone is looking to make this thing rival a lot of the big promotions in the world, and it was an amazing experience.
Well, we don't have any certainties, of course, Josh, but we hope and we know that at some point in the future, you'll be back in the ARES arena again as a heavyweight, and we hope that that will be sooner rather than later. Josh Parisian, I'd like to thank you very much for talking to us today on the ARES Fighting Championship podcast. It's been great talking to you, great seeing you again. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this episode. As a reminder, please subscribe to our channel on social media and on YouTube at ARES Fighting for all the latest exclusive content about your favorite MMA league. For now, all we can say is goodbye. Talk soon. See you later.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.